Hey guys, Kyle here. So, just before the show starts, I wanted to mention our Patreon. You can pay us $1 a month as a thank you, as a tip. You can pay $2 a month to get access to one of our bonus content shows, episodes 2 days early, and a secret Discord chat where all of our Patreon donors get to go and hang out and talk with us directly. Then there's a $5 tier that you can donate to get access to a whole bunch more content. We have multiple bonus episodes on there. So please check it out. Patreon.com/itgetsweird. We don't advertise, we don't make money. So check it out and throw some money if you think that would be cool. Thanks.
Welcome to It Gets Weird, our comedy show where we explore the unusual, the unbelievable, and the unexplained to try to make your world a little weirder. I'm Niall.
And I'm Kyle, and this is a special occasion.
Yeah, a bit of a special occasion. We are doing a bit of a fuck your documentary this week.
In a way.
But it's a little outside the norm. And before we get too far into it, let's go ahead and introduce who else in the room. We have a 4-person cast today, so I'll go ahead and start with to my right.
Oh, he mixed it up.
Oh,
I was pointing at Jules.
he was pointing. He wanted so badly for me to be
Just
introduced
begging
first.
for it.
But technically, you got there because you
It's
said my
fine.
name.
Yeah.
Said you
The
you
dual
made it happen.
intro here.
So it's all happening now.
Who the hell are you two?
Oh,
I need full
Richard.
legal names, social security
was
numbers.
Richard?
I go by Rico.
okay, Dick.
little interesting energy to start off. All right.
Wow.
My God.
It's short
you guys
for
know
Richard.
Me. It's Garrett.
It is. It's short for Richard. Hi, Garrett.
Garrett, short for Richard.
Garrett is short for Richard. How are you doing, Garrett?
I'm good. I wanted to see you guys so bad. I was screaming. I was squealing. I said, let me out of work. Please. I've got to go see those boys who love that weird stuff.
And Jules, how you doing?
I'm neutral.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
Couldn't care less.
You're here as the commonplace correspondent because we watched a UFO documentary.
Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah.
Okay. Should I start with the preface of what the fuck we watched and why we watched it?
It was a real UFO documentary by my
kind of.
standards.
Okay. Let me give the pitch, and then Kyle can give his descending pitch or his dissension pitch. We operate like the Supreme Court this time. So Kyle's going to write the dissenting opinion, and I'm going to start with the intended consequence here. So we watched a documentary ? By the name Alien Encounters from New Tomorrowland. It's a 1995 documentary. That was put out by a little old media conglomerate known as the Walt Disney Company.
Never heard of them.
And it...
Was that like a 5-man group?
it's a small tech startup.
Yeah, they've only really made like 1 or 2 little projects, but they're kind of coming up on the scene now, and you might hear more of them in the near future. This was a documentary that was only aired once on TV in like 5 cities. Because
It was 7. I looked it
7?
up. Yeah,
Okay.
7 cities.
What cities were they?
That's a good question.
In
I didn't
alphabetical order.
see what cities they were, but
I would guess
Chicago.
cities near the park.
You would
New
think
York.
so,
Orlando,
but I truly don't know.
If it was a limited start.
Anaheim.
So it's called Alien Encounters from New Tomorrowland. It was a combination UFO documentary with / advertisement for a new theme park attraction coming to Disney World or Disneyland entitled
Disney World.
Mm-hmm. Extraterrestrial Alien Encounters.
Extraterrestrial, excuse me. The
Yeah, the
announcer
guy-
made it very,
the guy
very
said it
clear.
many
Robert
times.
Ulrich had a very hard time with the which, to be fair, extraterrestrial is a real
It's a mouthful.
But he also said when he was just saying extraterrestrial,
Yeah.
he pronounced it
Extraterrestrial.
extraterrestrial.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's fucked, is what we're saying.
He's a
fucked in
fucking
the head.
imbecile.
This guy doesn't know what he's talking about.
This guy is not an accredited UFO documentarian
No.
nor UFO researcher. He's just some schmuck from Hollywood.
Although they did get some real names in ufology for this thing.
They did.
It's very weird.
Yeah. The cross section of this documentary is absolutely absurd because it literally starts post the little teaser thing at the beginning. You have Michael Eisner, the head of Disney Parks.
Yeah, about to get shot up by
He
a
gets
couple
gunned
of
down.
military men.
He's preempting the whole Storm Roswell movement by about 20 years and trying to get in and sneak a peek at some secrets, and a whole bunch of military people with full full rifles are just like stopping him.
Do you
They
think
do open fire.
Yeah. For a good solid 20 minutes of the documentary,
the
they
guns
just are
do
firing
not
on
go
him.
silent.
It's total platoon.
And the thing is, like, when I say that they spend 20 minutes firing at Michael Eisner, I don't mean like they miss. Like, they hit him most of the time.
Most.
I'm saying that by the time that this little promo was cut, Michael Eisner was a red smear
Yeah, he was a pulp.
on the parking lot of Disney.
It was a reverse firing squad situation where instead of only one person having a real bullet, one person had fake bullets. So that everyone could be like, no, I wasn't the one that turned the head of Disney Parks into pavement.
All right, look, United States Air Force.
Michael Eisner concentrate that you can put in a picture.
The trade here was that
Just add water.
the U.S. Air Force gets to put out this PSYOP documentary in 7 different cities, and then and they get Michael Eisner in exchange, and they can do whatever they want with him.
I'm just saying that Michael Eisner's assistant pulled him up in the morning and said, we're going to be doing a fun little promo shoot for the new Alien ride. And by the end of the day, all that was left was 2 smoking loafers and a red mist.
Someone behind the documentary told Michael Eisner it would be really funny for him to try to get past the military personnel because they were gunning for his job, and in return he got gunned.
It was Bob Iger.
If Michael Eisner had not been vaporized by military men in 1995 while shooting this video, he would have been Naruto running to Area 51 in 2020.
I mean,
or
you
whatever.
wouldn't believe that they could condense a man into such a fine mist.
Yeah. The bullets hit him hard enough that he kind of ends up with this like gummy texture, like it's tough and condensed.
He's like a Sour Patch Kid that's been in the sun 6 hours.
And it's weird because like you can't like it's not like there's material
because it looks good.
Did you ever see someone try to set a Stretch Armstrong on fire?
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
It's all singed around the edges and it's just goop.
It's super weird that Disney did this in the 1990s
and
bold.
Frankly, it's wild they didn't edit any of it out.
Yeah, it is very weird.
You can find this on YouTube. It's on YouTube under like a banned documentary Disney like alien encounters or something like that. But if you look up alien encounters, you'll find it pretty soon.
I mean,
I'm weeping.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys reload a couple times.
They literally had to bring in an ammo truck with more rounds.
There's like a solid 5 minutes of them pulling ammo off the truck and setting up.
And it's an
Michael
unbroken
Eisner
shot.
been dead for 15 minutes. Wow. Oh my god. Yeah, what the fuck was this?
Okay, Kyle, I gave the pitch. Now
Yeah.
what is your read on this? Because I'll actually one more thing before I let you go. The reason we watched this was because before Kyle showed up, or after you left, maybe we watched a Defunct Land thing on the myths, like myth busting stuff about this ride, and one of them was that Disney funded a UFO documentary to promote the ride, and it was proven true. So then I was like, okay, this is fucking weird. Let's see if we can find it, and there it was. So it came from us watching a Defunct Land video.
At some point, it was considered lost media, though. They
Correct.
said that it was like recently someone.
It was unearthed like 5
reposted it.
years ago.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I do feel like there should be a distinction there that this wasn't like a new Defunct Land. Like, this isn't hot off the presses. This was from like 4 years ago.
Yeah, but it was new to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
I didn't know about this. This was new to me.
It was sprung on Kyle. So we sprung this on you, not intentionally to make this an interesting bit for the podcast.
And how did that feel?
But what is your read of all this?
What's it like to be tricked?
It feels good. I kind of like it.
I'm into it.
Yeah. No, I think my perception of this is a little bit colored since I did just get off of like a month's worth of research doing UFO disinformation via the United States military. And I just have kind of reached a point with a lot of UFO stuff where I don't really trust ex-military people's takes on UFO stuff. And that's like, I think almost exclusively who was on this documentary.
Other than the abductees, yeah.
Other than the abductees, who honestly, I'll say it, could have just been actors. We don't know who those fucking people were.
Sure. I wrote down. I'm honestly like I wrote down a couple names and stuff that I might give a Google
Did
later.
they give names of any of the abductees?
They gave names of the two sisters or whatever, Debbie and Terry.
Okay.
That I could try to do little.
Might have to Google them up, but like, who knows who those people were? I mean, the whole documentary. It's interesting because we're watching this. And I mean, I do recommend people go and listen to the UFO Disinfo to understand why I'm kind of like, because if I'm ready to believe any conspiracy theory, it's that the United States government would be willing to like do a psyop on people using UFO stuff. I'd believe that. I don't know if that's the case, but this just like, I don't know. I mean, it was really just about entertainment, right? And driving people to the parks, but like...
But what about this did they think was going to drive people to the park?
It is extremely weird. It is extremely weird.
Okay, so just to give a quick rundown, it starts off with stuff about like, UFOs and just like, oh, we might have aliens among us after the extended sequence of Michael Eisner getting plastered onto the pavement. It goes into kind of a little bit of, the history of government UFO research and like Roswell and stuff, but it starts to show like home video footage people have taken in Mexico City in 1992, Canada in 1991, Gulf Breeze, Florida in 94, 95 of these like aircraft in the sky. And then it goes into some ex-military guys, Kevin Randall and Clifford Stone. Mm-hmm. We then get into maybe the atomic bomb is responsible for aliens coming to Earth.
Yeah.
Then military fights, dogfights with UFOs, Majestic 12. Like, then we're into microorganisms, and then we go straight into abductees. It's all over the place.
It is no joke insane. I was like, when they hit me with the whole aliens are seeding viruses on planet Earth stuff, I was like, what the fuck? This is a Disney product?
Yeah, and a Disney documentary name dropping the Majestic 12 is like...
Which, again, like, I don't know how much you two are aware, Garrett and Jules. Garrett, I'm sure, has at least heard the name.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But Majestic 12 is like a pretty easily disproven document that's full-on bullshit. Like, it's a crazy conspiracy thing that has, like, it's got a lot of roots in a lot of different things, such as, like, ancient aliens and things like that, and like alien contact with the government and the military. Like it's all kinds of stuff.
And it's also like kind of a secret cabal-y type thing in some ways. Yeah.
They had the bit where the UFOs wanted to mate with the helicopters.
Yeah.
They said they were
likening them to birds. Yeah.
Yes.
Getting confused.
Yeah. Yeah. I just think like, after doing my UFO disinfo thing, like, which has really like, I feel crazy after reading about some of that stuff.
Kyle had his crack ping moment.
Yeah. I really kind of did. And I don't know. It's hard not to see something like this and just be like, well, this just feels like somebody's doing a psychological operation.
It does feel psyop-y a little bit, but it also feels like I'm curious. I would love... More than watching this documentary, the thing I want to see is the board meetings of Disney deciding to like do this as a marketing ploy.
Yeah.
Because like what was going through, because obviously there was like, okay, we have a space themed ride. It's about an alien. It's about like kind of this horror thing. And we're kind of playing with like interplanetary travel and like aliens and stuff. So what are we going to do to promote this thing?
Yeah, and it's make a half hour, 40-hour long documentary.
Yeah,
where the format is very kind of unsolved mysteries.
Yeah.
It put me in the mind of being like growing up. I feel like it was an extremely common television product that it would be stuff that is formatted like this: a host walking in front of a specific location, talking about whatever the subject material was, interspliced with the same pictures over and over, and then a couple witnesses.
That's an 8 p.m. special on ABC.
Yes.
On a Friday.
Yeah. I was obsessed with Unsolved Mysteries as a kid, but then I watched like Ghost Hunters, alien shows like this. But like, what year did the X-Files debut? And when was there this uptick culturally that everybody was like obsessed with the government covering things up and aliens coming to Earth? Because I feel like there were other shows on TV at the time doing a similar thing, which is probably why they thought that this would get people to go to the ride.
And also,
if at the end they were like, and there's this ride about aliens, think about
I love that like the last 3 minutes are saved for like, here's the pitch of the ride.
Yeah.
But the rest of it is just like, the government is lying to you about aliens and people are trying to tell you about it and you're not fucking listening.
And
They're
their pitch
here
for the
right
ride is this ride will prepare you for your eventual contact with aliens.
It was
very
they
weird.
used the phrase inevitable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is because one of the things that we did after we watched the documentary is as a follow-up, is we watched a walkthrough of the original ride. And after watching all this crazy shit that you guys just described, it is just this like kooky sci-fi adventure.
It's the bureaucracy mishap type ride where like they're trying to show you this cool thing and things go awry and go wrong and you're in a situation and you're screaming
Again.
and then they fix it and are like, well, okay,
And the
excess
aliens are all
technologies
goofy
is good.
Star Trek humanoids and a robot and like a little gremlin in a tube. Like it's very strange following
Someone
up with that.
is consumed
Yeah.
in the ride.
A man is eaten.
A man is ingested
Yeah.
in the ride. That does happen. I feel
He's
like
a human spaghetti noodle.
People who went on
he's
this
a
ride,
man. He had thoughts and a family.
you're not
probably.
fully, you're not
He had a
fully,
flashlight. We know that.
And a bug ate him and then exploded.
Yep.
you're not giving the full, because basically you see a POV shot of getting swallowed by a giant alien.
Yeah.
This was a transformative moment for some people
Yes.
when they were young.
Some people
Let me tell
came
you.
out of this ride and went,
I'm a monster fucker
Some
now.
kinda
people
like
this
that.
afternoon went, huh,
Yeah. It's
I'm
really,
looking at 3 of them right now.
it's the and the thing that I want to like hammer home that is the thing that struck me most about this whole documentary experience is the tone in which this documentary is produced, because they decided we have a ride with an alien in it. The tone of this documentary is all of this stuff is real.
Yes.
These people are trying to get the word out about this alien thing. They're just here right now. Aliens are here on Earth, and the government is lying to you about it. And that is the Disney produced documentary pitch of this thing. It is so weird.
I mean, this is the same company that worked on a NASA video with Werner von Braun.
yeah,
like
I watched that for an episode a while ago. And like, because I was watching, there's supposedly places where you can see things on the surface of the moon in the footage they use, and it's
weird.
So I watched like this whole thing that is like, it's the kind of thing that the Iron Man 2 stuff is riffing on.
Yeah.
Where it's the like sitting in front of the model and there's a guy kind of explaining science to you as if he's like a 1950s house husband, like kind of like a 1950s husband with a pipe, but it's just Werner von Braun talking to you about space travel, and you're like, wasn't this guy like making fucking like Nazi stuff? Like, what is this?
yeah,
It's really weird.
That's a
Very
Nazi
strange.
rocket man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was flabbergasted by the things that they were saying in this. And I mean, it's like I said, it references stuff as being factual using Majestic 12 as a reference.
Yes.
Which is insane. Like, the thing is, when we talk about Richard Doty and all the disinfo stuff from the last couple episodes, there's this guy who's spreading disinformation to UFO believers and ufologists, and he like has already, it's been years since he admitted that was the case.
Yeah.
And people knew he was mixed up with like Majestic 12 and all that stuff. People knew. Like, it's not new, but nonetheless, this like myth persists. It's very fucking I don't think I would have bat an eyelash if this was like a unsolved mysteries or whatever.
Yeah.
But because it's Disney, it's fucking weird.
What were the 2 guys' names who were like the experts?
Kevin Randall and Clifford Stone.
My question is, do you think that those guys realized that the thing that they were doing, the tone of it was going to be much more like War of the Worldsy? Or do you think that they thought like finally Disney is getting the truth out?
Are you asking if realize real lies?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I think I honestly don't have a read on those guys, but I do, like I said, I have this sort of blanket just intuition to not trust ex-military when they start talking about UFOs.
And especially the Clifford Stone guy, they showed his book, and his book is literally just one of those. There's this brand of conspiracy books which are just like, we're reprinting classified government documents that we've like freed, and that was the big book he had. And it's just like, those people I really feel like are hard to trust in any real way, because it feels like they're specifically getting fed information.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't even care whether or not they know that they're lying. I'm saying, like, do you think that they thought that Disney believed them? You know what I mean?
I truly don't know. That's the thing, is like, everything, there's nothing in the text of this documentary that says that Disney is in on the joke.
Yeah.
But they have, like,
and it was obviously recorded in a way where they were doing serious interviews, especially like if the abductees are actual people. Let's operate on that assumption. Yeah. Those people thought that they were being interviewed for a legitimate documentary.
Yeah. There was this is just tinfoil hat bullshit, but the abductee people just, some of them kind of gave me this like flair for the dramatic that made me think that it was not sincere. But
I think every person who's on a show like this has that, though.
The
because
woman who sang "Twinkle Twinkle Little
Star."
That's what I'm saying.
I'm saying
laugh.
You're right. But people who are on shows like this, people who like. I watched so much shit like this in the 90s. Mm-hmm. The shows where they find people who say, like, this really happened to me. Yeah. All those people want attention.
Yeah,
those are all people who are desperate for attention.
And they're non-actors being pitched and like coached by producers to do things.
Yes.
They're at least being like fed lines here.
Yeah.
Like 100%.
She looked so downtrodden. She was like, God damn it.
Yeah.
They're the ones who made me sing
yes.
Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
She really
This was supposed to be my big break.
What's so fucked up about that too is the shift from a woman who's just like, I don't feel like my child is safe. I'm being sexually assaulted. And then just to this woman who's like, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Here's my creepy poem about aliens from afar. It's like, what the fuck is the vibe here?
See it in the sky, makes me want to cry.
So weird. It's so weird. I really do recommend people, if you find this stuff interesting, to just like go look this up on YouTube. It is bizarre.
Even just really comb through it. It's interesting to watch, but you also can get the gist by just kind of scanning through it.
Yeah.
It does, like, here's the thing. It references multiple like actual UFO encounters. Like we get our world famous fucking DC.
We get the DC flyover of 1952 and the Roswell crash of 1947 are two of the big ones that they
along with
talk
the
about.
like Mantell like dogfight thing.
Yeah.
And the
I love the part where they did mention like, oh, we came to a grizzly inn, but at the end they're just like, and then his mission was over as he plummeted to the ground and died.
Dying. Yeah. And when they talked about the Washington flyover, they said it was the first time since 1812 that our nation's capital was invaded by an outside force.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are we talking about?
Just to give you two some context, because we talk about the 1952 Washington D.C. flyover that they're referencing in here, and there is another alternative conspiracy that we did that like we manufactured that event using our own like I forget the term. It was basically these electromagnetic devices that we use, and they can like scramble radar and do all this other stuff. And like people are kind of there's a lot of different angles to it, because like people are like, well, what if it's the Soviets? Like, what if the Soviets are fucking flying over the nation's capital? And then the other people say, well, that doesn't make a lot of sense for a handful of reasons.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, what if we did it? What if we did that? Is kind of the final option, and
to test our readiness.
To test, there is this whole kind of undercurrent of the conspiracy theory that the government manufactures UFO events, that they are testing the populace to see what are like how prepared we would be for like mass panic and things like that. Which is
I'd say we're doing great.
Yeah, we're doing a good job. People are
What if the government is just doing a bit?
That could be it too.
They're just having a silly one.
It wouldn't.
Yeah, they're like they're gonna freak when we do this.
I mean, old Tricky Dick.
yeah.
We've had some really funny prankster presidents.
We just had maybe the greatest prank of a president in recent memory.
It's so true.
Just such a crazy bit.
It was so funny.
It was very funny. This
could be millions of things.
pouring millions of dollars into a bit would not surprise me.
Yeah.
If I had that kind of money, I would definitely do $1 million bit.
Definitely.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
The more I live life, the more it just.
I would do a funny bit where I bought you guys each a car and then dropped like a crane on it.
Oh.
And then would open the like crane box and drive out another car to be like, it was just a bit. Here's your actual car.
Would you bring in Ashton Kutcher for the reveal?
No.
Oh.
I don't want him
Would you
anywhere.
bring
No.
Any
I
celebrity?
don't want him to taint this.
Is the second car like a shittier car, or is it?
Is it nicer?
It's of equal value.
equal value.
Yeah. Not even going to say lesser. It's equal. 28,000. 28,000.
Okay.
Okay.
Could be more,
Cool.
could be less. I'm not going to say.
Yeah.
So almost $60K for a prank.
Yeah. Well, plus like certification on cranes and
Right.
stuff. Like you got to put in some work.
And
I'm trying to factor that
We're
in.
buying these cars twice again.
Yeah.
We are crushing 3 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So another little thing that really got me in this whole thing was it was going off and doing all the abductees things, and then it comes back and fucking Robert Urich is just like, you're actually more likely to see a UFO in the sky than you are to win the lottery, and it's just like said in such this like cheery manner after all of the stuff that's been going on about like the government's lying to you and there's aliens everywhere and they're like hounding these people and ruining their lives, but you're gonna see an alien in the night sky and it's great. And I'm just and the whiplash of it.
The tone of this whole thing is just such like, you will meet aliens.
Yeah.
It is inevitable. It is impending. It is happening soon.
Mm-hmm. I loved his little lottery ticket prop though.
Yes.
Yeah. He had a little lottery.
Yeah.
Here's how I know it's not. Here's how I know it's a psyop and it's not trying in any way to be legitimate. Is they say you will meet aliens, but they don't follow the next logical conclusion, which is you will fuck aliens.
Yes.
Or bring them out and say, this is one of them.
This thing's
Right.
got 6 holes.
This thing has so many pleasurable spaces for you to explore, and you're gonna get to see them all after you meet them. That's how I'm just saying, real UFO disclosure usually comes with alien sex.
It was kind of weird when they said that.
Did I miss it?
It did, actually. There was a bit where he went to the bathroom.
Oh yeah, Kyle did disappear
I missed the
for a
whole
minute.
sex bit. Fuck.
And we actually asked
graphic.
them to move just all of the sex into the 1 minute that you're gone.
You
They
dialed
showed
up.
alien hole.
Yeah.
Wow. You dialed up the Disney Corporation and said, look, our buddy's going to the
I
bathroom.
called back to
Can you live edit
1995. I said,
Yeah.
listen.
Can you live edit this YouTube video?
Yeah.
Yes.
Real quick. We don't want him getting too horned up because he has to record a podcast after.
True.
And be honest, you would have been jerking it this whole
I
time.
would have been
He
going
would've been
crazy.
Cranking it off. That shit would have been silly.
Your penis would have been turned to dust.
Beef
Much like
jerky.
not Bob Iger, he's still around. Michael Eisner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say, I thought it was weird how, like, periodically throughout the documentary, they would cut back where they were showing the alien abductees the smear and being
Yeah,
like,
it's-
anyway, here's Mike.
It's so weird because it would cut back and it would just be the pile of Mike that's left over.
Yeah.
I mean, that,
But
like,
it would be like there was supposed to be a segment there, but it would just be like a screen, like live footage of his just dismembered.
The stain.
And I've heard that
Body,
if you
yeah.
go to Disneyland in the right place and you go where this alien ride was,
they never cleaned it up.
there actually is still bits of
Yeah, you can see Eisner's tidbits.
Well, I thought it was
Permanent
insane. I
stain
mean,
on the concrete.
it easily doubled the length of the documentary. Like, they could have cut out all that silence where it was just the viscera and gore,
It's a lot like
And the- smoldering penny loafers.
it's a lot like Club 55, where you kind of have to have an in to get to the spot where Michael Eisner was turned into.
yeah, people touch
Goo.
it like the Blarney Stone.
Yeah, they kiss it
Yeah.
and all kinds of stuff.
Now, speaking of stretching this documentary, do you think the like 5-minute segue into microorganisms was that?
That I like fully tuned out in that second.
Garrett
like, I
giggled
was,
at it.
Yeah, I was done.
They're talking about a classic thing where it's like, well, is life out in the universe like
They showed the worms going ape shit, and that was what really got me.
It's
well,
true.
they're
The worms and
basically
the spheres.
they're basically just talking about how like it's that one theory that like life spreads in the universe through like these microorganisms that kind of go on to different planets, and that's how our life formed here or whatever.
Yeah.
But like it also kind of jumps to this really bizarre conclusion of like, well, are these microorganisms seeded by like a higher intelligence?
Yeah, there was this was the weirdest part of the documentary. If I'm taking it all at face value, this felt very out of pocket for it, because everything else was kind of in one direction, and then this was just like, what if it's actually, if you don't believe that the big boys are coming, how about the little boys? How about the little guys?
Yeah.
Just a couple little guys squirming around in a meteor.
Yeah,
These little freaks are already here.
Yeah. And there was no conclusion from it.
no,
Other than
I think that it was plot relevant to the ride, because the idea of the ride is that they're going to teleport a being from space to Earth. And in the middle, the rays get caught and they accidentally teleport a monster alien.
yeah.
And in this part of the documentary, they say that creatures, they extrapolate out from the microorganism to say that creatures can exist, can go into a form of stasis
You're right.
inside of meteors
You're right.
That is true.
That is
to survive in the vacuum of space.
Jules cracked it. That's why that was in the documentary, is because they were trying to explain the fucking plot of this
Yeah.
ride.
That was the part where we were trying to figure out whether the worm was in agony or ecstasy.
Yes.
As he
He was
squiggled
wriggling
and
around.
I said the worm was partying.
Do you want
Yeah,
to talk
I
about the
said
ride
he was
real quick?
screaming.
Yeah, I do.
Sure.
So we watched the ride. You can find full walkthroughs of this on.
It's a long ride.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
was kind of surprised.
It was an 18-minute video, including the queue and the exit.
the CRT screen outside of it that is telling you upcoming events.
Yeah, it's like a 15-minute ride then, right? Like something like that.
Actually,
still,
in your
like-
seat, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a decent-
for a Disney ride.
Although, like, I will say, I think I'm the only person here who's never been to Disney.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's like to be at a theme park like that. Are there a lot of things where you go into a building and it's like you experience something for
Oh,
20
yeah.
minutes?
You
That's
wait
the
an
idea?
hour and a half for the
queue
10-minute
is like a
ride.
thing.
Okay.
And
I've only been to
there's,
parks where it's like
pre-shows.
you stand outside like a jag for a few minutes and then you're on a ride for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Like that's
It's a full like integrated, like when I went to the California one a couple years back, like to get into Indiana Jones, like you had to walk like through a jungle like into a temple. And, like that was the queue.
and you were
Yeah.
being chased by a boulder the whole time.
Yeah, and like
And you would
there
have
were blow
died if you
darts
didn't
and
make it
everything.
inside?
It was
And you're
crazy.
trying
Were
to
you
hang it
poisoned?
with a 16-year-old.
I was poisoned.
Oh, sorry. That
Fuck
was just a
you.
little joke.
Just a little bit. Just a little fun
Just a little
goof.
joke about the age disparity of those characters in that film.
Yeah, Disney. It's we were talking about the lamentation of like
They're women.
their women. that's what we were talking about. And would you care to
No.
elaborate on that point?
That's a Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah.
Oh,
So it was a 15-minute ride. But
Yeah.
I'm saying that's typical. That's
yeah, I think
that's not
so.
unusual.
And yeah,
Especially
that's
for like
about
one of
right.
these like sit down, you're seeing a show kind of thing.
Yeah.
As opposed to like a roller coaster or whatever else. Like those can be quicker. But for these things where it's like it's a narrative experience that you're kind of in this is probably pretty standard.
Yeah.
I
But-
waited. Sorry.
No, go ahead. I was just gonna say like the level of like stuff they had to make up for this is really fun.
Yeah. They created a whole world.
I love that it's not any existing IP and it's just like, oh, we're gonna make this random corporation with people in like, I guess
Alien.
alien makeup.
There was a really funny moment where it was like she's like got green skin, and I guess
Yeah.
I can see where they're
Basically
going
humanoid.
for. And she turned around and her head was like a foot long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it
She
was
had
like,
like
whoa.
a full fucking xenomorph head.
prosthesis.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was
We had Tim Curry voicing an animatronic robot.
yeah.
Yep, very
that was
sassy.
sick.
That was
I
pretty
love
cool,
that
actually.
robot.
I wanted to point out again that like the animatronic movements for that seemed like really fluid.
Very fluid,
For
very like
1995.
natural to what he was saying. It looked like the hand movements actually matched it.
Yeah.
That was the unfinished exoskeleton of a Hall of Presidents. Oh, that's
That thing was
Disneyland.
sentient.
Fuck, that's
they
Disneyland.
put Tim Curry in that thing
Yeah.
for like 6 months.
Yeah.
They shrunk him down.
Yeah.
They shrunk him down and they put a megaphone in there and they put him in the chest cavity of that robot.
For the first couple weeks, he just screamed. But I mean, at that point, it was like, I'm here. Might as well have fun with it.
Exactly.
Yeah. He eventually succumbed and started doing.
He's Stockholm
rewritten lines.
syndromed.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ride is really cool. I still can't get over the disparity between the documentary and its tone and the ride's tone, because like I was fully expecting the ride to be like, you're on a covert mission to investigate aliens and watch out for the government, and no, it's so complete, utterly
It's
different.
so
They're at a
yeah.
business convention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's there is this like this idea of, like you're saying, it was the bureaucracy of science fiction.
Yeah.
That was the idea of the ride, is just like there is this company on another planet who has developed technology that we don't have on Earth, and this is like their expo. You're visiting to see a demonstration of this technology, and that's what it was. It was just like the opening video is just like an alien is explaining this to you.
Yep.
But the documentary is this thing of like we're saying, it's all based in like quote unquote real historical things.
Yeah.
It talks about them as being you call them grays, right?
Mm-hmm.
None of it. All of the design elements of the ride are like humanoid people with their skin painted or giant monsters.
Yeah.
At no point is it your typical like abduction
Grays,
idea at
yeah.
all. Like
Yeah.
those ideas don't ever end up coinciding.
What's funny is the only things that you need from the documentary are the thing you found out about the microorganisms,
Yes.
your point on the microorganisms, and then aliens exist.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those are like the only common threads between the documentary and the ride,
Yeah.
and it's fucking great.
And it also was, you guys said they only showed it in like 7 cities, right? One time. Because
And
in
unannounced,
in
by
the
the way.
debunked land, yeah, they just aired it.
Yeah.
And in the debunked land that we watched, they said that it was because parents were like, you're scaring my kids. This
Yeah.
is too scary. I cannot believe that you didn't warn me what this was, and I just put it on and I let my kids watch
and
it.
that's kind of like my other thing with this is like, if you're trying to drive somebody to this like silly, goofy, like sci-fi adventure ride, like what we just described, why are you sending them this horrifying abduction? Aliens are evil.
Yeah. If I had seen it when I was a kid, it would have scared
It would
the
have
shit
scared
out of
me too.
And parents were right to complain. And Disney went like, it's a fair cop. Sure, we'll take it off TV.
Yeah,
Like they just were like, yeah.
yeah, good point. I don't know. Look, sorry, I went into a fugue state.
We
and
went a
put out
little
this-
too far with this one. I guess, yeah, it's not fair to
Like-
show the public execution of Michael Eisner on TV.
that was a little far.
That was actually the only part the parents liked.
Yeah, they were like, that part was great. And then
That
it got
was
into all
cool.
this
The
bullshit
kids
about
loved it.
aliens.
Yeah.
If they really wanted to like be in line with like what the documentary presents itself as, then the ride at Disney should have just been one big white room with a chair in it where they have hired the MK Ultra team to bind you to the chair, force feed you LSD, and perform an abduction experience on you.
Yeah.
That's what that should have been.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
That's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. Like
I
that's
think-
what they're just. That's what it
Yeah.
seemed like it should have been.
The whole ride should have just been them feeding Michael Eisner to the alien bug.
Yeah.
So you're gonna say feeding Michael Eisner LSD.
All of the
Well, they
abduction,
feed him LSD and then feed him to the bug.
all the abduction stories in the documentary though were your typical thing of like, they took my bone marrow, they put a needle in my eyeball,
They scooped
They-
little
they
divots out of
scooped
me.
divots out of my flesh.
Put an
Shin.
implant. They put an implant up my nose.
Yeah, but the ride
my
has
eye.
nothing to do with that.
Right.
In the
Absolutely
ride,
nothing.
you are just a person going to see a demonstration of a teleporter. You're not being abducted. You're not an alien is not gonna fuck you.
You're basically seeing a Honda, like the ride is like we're doing a Honda commercial.
Yeah.
And the documentary was like, the government is going to get you.
Yeah.
What is this? It makes no sense.
it's very true. It's really bizarre, and I just
But
like
if I had been advertised with the documentary, I would have expected to show up and have it be like the smoking
Like an
man
X-Files,
is
yeah.
like bringing me in
Yep.
and telling me there's actually this whole secret world and behind government
Yeah.
locked doors. It's not that at all.
No, it's
Kevin Pollak is like, oh, Poindexter trying to explain teleportation to
We can't
me.
do this yet. Oh no.
Like, Jesus Christ.
I have a very distinct. I don't remember where this was, but I remember going to a theme park of some kind where there was an interactive thing where you could go into a Men in Black themed, like the movie, a Men in Black, like blacklight room area that had like buildings and things, and alien cardboard stand-ups would like pop out, and you were equipped with a gun and you could shoot them.
It was like laser tag.
Yeah, but civilians would pop up, and if you shot them, you'd lose points.
Yeah.
It was a police shooting range.
Yeah.
But for Men in Black.
Yeah, so that's like even closer to what I would have imagined with like
This is preparing you for the eventual alien horde.
Yeah.
When someone in this documentary said the phrase "reptilians are very sexually aggressive," I was not expecting.
I was so put off by that.
I was like, that doesn't really fit the ride at all.
No,
as far as I'm aware.
no.
I mean, the woman literally, like, one of the abductees literally mentions rape. It is fucking weird.
And like the trauma of having this experience that no one believes you about.
Yeah,
Like,
where she was violated.
Yeah.
it's getting into like abductee trauma, and then fucking Robert Urich or whatever the fuck is just like, you're more likely to see a UFO than you are to win the lottery. Let's go see the ride. Like,
And there's
what the fuck?
It is. It's an impossible thing to dismount into, standing outside of the ride and being like, check it out, it's extraterrestrial. Like, what?
This is what I'm saying to it, and let me put my tinfoil hat on, because the people spoke with executives at Disney, and they were like, "Can we produce this video that will function as disinformation for the American populace?" But then there's a disconnect between that, because and Disney's like, "Oh yeah, we're developing an alien-based ride that's perfect."
Yeah.
And boom, you end up with this like completely, utterly disconnected thing.
The only thing missing from this documentary was like a section where they made the abductees ride the ride.
Yeah.
Like,
Can you imagine though? Like, can you
Rate
imagine?
on a scale of 1 to 10 how close this was to your experience.
I thought the ride was a lot of fun. I enjoyed myself. I liked it when the alien came back from the teleporter all fucked up. It wasn't really anything like my horrifying experience and being violated.
I'm picturing the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star Lady in a t-shirt for the ride.
I was gonna say there's one person
you got
who's
a
like
plush
10.
of the burnt up
Yes.
fucking little.
Yeah.
That's exactly how my experience went. 10.
That was identical.
There was one person. They consulted me for this.
There was a glass tube. It shattered. A giant creature
Janet
came
got
out.
eaten.
Yep.
I think Disney.
Michael Eisner was vaporized.
It's always got to bring him back to that.
I think Disney's really got to take this one out of the vault, put it up on Disney Plus.
Yeah,
They need
a
to clone
4K of
Mike.
Look, we're sorry about this one. All right.
I would be grateful.
The
Make
military
a ride
paid
of
us a lot
Michael
of money
Eisner
on this
getting.
one.
You want to make a ride of Michael Eisner getting just like blown to
Are
smithereens?
in the ride, is it first person? Are you shooting him?
Hey Ma, the queue for Mike Mist is 35 minutes.
It's like the Buzz Lightyear thing where you're on a little rail shooter, but there's only ever one target.
Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, Michael Eisner of Blood Mist.
It's one target and it's the same one that keeps popping up, and you're disintegrating it more and more each time he pops up.
Like I said, he's being reduced to atoms.
I gotta go back and listen through all this and figure out where it becomes in poor taste. You know?
Never. We're gonna do it for the next 20
still
minutes, and it
alive,
still will
right?
be great.
Yeah, he's still alive.
Yeah,
Well,
and what's really fucking funny is that in the actual documentary, to pull back the bit here, this is like a 10-second little comedy bit of him going, "I'm gonna go see what's behind the thing," and then all the military are just like, "Nope," and then it ends.
You in trying to elucidate what we're talking about, you still did a terrible job describing it.
Just watch the thing.
He turns toward a little fake military checkpoint where there are 6 guys with M16s, and when he turns towards them, they all aim them at him.
Yes.
As a, like,
and he
"Don't
goes
come
like,
back
"Ooh, I
here."
guess I can't go back there." Ha
Yeah.
ha ha. That's all it is.
And then they open fire.
then they open
they
fire.
shoot him in the chest and head.
Legs, thighs, knees. I mean,
It's a
There was one
smorgasbord.
there's a point where he is wearing a ring and you actually see it fly into the air.
You get some real Zack Snyder slow-mo shots.
A bullet goes through the ring.
Yeah.
Now, if I
It's
remember,
actually badass.
if I remember correctly, Michael Eisner's sort of like reputation as one of the leaders of Disney is kind of doing like being edgier and like doing weirder stuff with the company.
Yeah, he's the one that put forth the like teen clubs,
Right.
in downtown Disney and stuff. Like he really took some weird missteps in the 90s and early 2000s that like almost drove the company to bankruptcy.
He did like, I think, kind of like revitalize it at the time, like when he first kind of got his hands on the whole thing. But I know that he also like is supposedly responsible for it getting like way worse.
I think that this is a reference for a couple people, but Michael Eisner seems to be to Disney parks what Vince Russo was to the WWF.
Oh,
where
that crystallized it immediately for me.
There was like a flash in the pan of like, oh, he's got some really interesting ideas that are revitalizing everything, and then everything after that just went more and more downhill.
Yeah, he was definitely kind of doing newer, weirder, edgier stuff, and that it would track with why he puts himself up for live execution via.
We said if Disney the Disney park in France didn't work out, then he would be executed live on camera, and he followed through with it. Like, you gotta
hand it to him. Yeah.
If we want extraterrestrial to be a success, I know that you guys need to reduce me to a smoldering crater of a fine pink mist and nothing else. And I'm okay with that because I'm here for the company.
This is a comedy podcast that we do here.
Hey, I'm laughing.
Did anyone else know that there's a law that you can't speak to aliens or else you're going to get a year in jail?
I didn't
what was that?
know that either.
$5,000 fine? Or
No, I'm saying, what was that? Explain it to
Is
me.
it
It gets
real?
weird,
It's
boys.
for people
It
who
seems to be.
fuck them.
Okay, well,
There are okay. So here's the best I got.
It was like contact with
No,
an
explain
alien.
laws to me.
There are.
I believe
like-
a bill has to be.
Yeah, I'm just
Ratified.
a bill.
Yeah, he's sitting in
Everyone's
Capitol
seen
Hill.
that famous Disney cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, there are like laws about UFOs and aliens because I guess to cover for the eventuality, like especially with like weaponizing space and everything. There's stuff about like so in international treaties, but there's also are some laws about that basically would say like the Air Force is the only one that can do anything with UFOs if they were to exist. And it is this kind of weird area where you're just like, why do we have these laws if aliens don't exist? But is it just for the eventuality? Is it like what's the deal? It's a weird thing that I don't know what to do with.
Someone in the Air Force wanted first dibs.
If we find a cool railgun in the desert, then the Air Force calls dibs.
Yes, that's ours.
It says you're like not supposed to like make contact with them. Can we define contact here? Because like
Breed.
Okay.
You can kiss, but no tongue.
So yeah, like is like a discreet meetup? Is that like no names exchanged? You don't even have to say anything. Is that like a
This is
Glory
the
hole count.
space
Is that allowed?
Craigslist of sex.
space list?
Yeah, there you go.
Somebody get a website designer on the horn right now,
I'm just saying though, like, what if you're abducted by aliens?
and they're
Is that
down to
con-
clown.
You
Is
will
that
be fined.
considered? You will be fined for getting abducted by aliens.
I'm gonna get pissy with the Grays. Do you guys even know how much trouble you're getting me into? I mean, come on.
I don't have $5,000.
a year.
This is one of those weird things that would be really hard for anyone to enforce because then to enforce this law, the government would have to
acknowledge the
acknowledge
existence of
that you were
aliens.
abducted by aliens.
I'm calling 911 every day saying I saw him touching the aliens. I saw him kissing.
I saw him tenderly making love to the alien below the boardwalk.
It was beautiful.
Twice a night.
I stopped and I watched and a tear welled up in my eye. I was like, I wish somebody would love me like that man's loving that alien, but I do have to report this.
Yeah,
I just said, listen, we all know we've
it's
been
beautiful,
Yeah.
but I'm calling the cops. The only person we haven't really talked about at all is Bud Hopkins in
Yeah.
terms
Bud
of like
Hopkins?
names that are in this documentary.
Yeah, Garrett, Butt Hopkins.
Yeah. And so Bud Hopkins is a abductee UFO researcher who has been abducted, who kind of gives the basically the rundown of how abductees experience things over the course of their lives. You're abducted as a child. You are continuously abducted throughout your life. Basically, he just like, it usually starts in childhood and it just keeps happening. It's really the gist of it.
I really liked the one lady abductee who at one point was talking about she realized she was going to get abducted and was just like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to get
An
home.
inconvenience at some point.
Jesus.
But then it goes through some like different physical manifestations, such as scars from where they take samples. So there's like these distinctive equilateral triangle scars on hands and feet specifically. And then also the scoop marks of where they took like basically like a little melon baller to your skin.
Melon bulb.
I don't know much about Bud Hopkins, but like I've heard the name before, and I think he does legitimately like consider himself an abductee. Like, I don't think he's pulling bullshit or anything, but
yeah, I think I've got him on my list of people to dive into. Like,
Yeah.
Bud Hopkins is a contactee that I've heard of. What?
You guys are pronouncing it butt. I have to
I'm
say.
not. I'm calling him
Garrett
Bud.
and I are 12. I know that. But like, you're saying butt Hopkins.
Look, I can't help it. It's just sometimes the funny word comes out.
Sometimes you say butt.
I'm not mad about it.
I like it. I'm just saying. Garrett and I are giggling. And it's because you're saying
Kyle
the
and I
word
are trying to
butt.
have a serious discussion
Yeah.
about UFO abductees.
Please.
And y'all are
and all
giggling.
we're
I'm
hearing is
sorry.
butt
I'm
hop.
sorry.
you can't laugh at people's funny names like Butt Askins or anything like
Or
that.
Butt foreskin.
or the recently elected young boozer.
I'm just
I don't know
thinking
that
about
one.
cheeks.
Yeah.
Cheeks? Butt cheeks?
What if someone's name was just Butt Cheeks?
Surely there's
Yeah.
gotta
I would
be.
marry them.
That's the sexiest
The
name.
man
a
who
person
runs
can have.
Nintendo's last name is Bowser. Surely there's somebody
True.
named Butt Cheeks
Yeah,
in
there's
the world.
Batman bin Superman. Why can't there be butt cheeks?
Yeah. Those two things are exactly the same.
They are.
Oh man. So I don't know. Like that, we've talked about the tone of this documentary. We've talked a lot about Michael Eisner being turned into mist. We've talked about how it's probably a psyop of some kind. Disinformation, government's lying to you. We've talked about the ride. Is there anything else that anyone wants to hit before we kind of start to wrap this one up?
I don't know.
I want to hit you about the head and neck with a blunt object.
Really? Why is that?
Whoa.
Unrelated.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I'm turning into a real crank, aren't I?
I mean, look, here's the thing. There's only so much like, oh, isn't this stuff fun and like goofy, and it's none of, we don't believe in any of it and everything that you can go before you start reading about this stuff. It's like, oh, the government might just be making this all up as an intentional thing to fuck with.
I kind of, the story of Paul Benowitz broke my brain a little bit. I think it could either it's because of the actual story or because I spent so much time reading about it.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I didn't expect going into this that the Disney fucking funded UFO documentary would really lead into the stuff we've been talking about government misinformation.
Yeah.
And that's my fault.
I was expecting it to be much funnier.
Yeah.
I really was. When I heard like, oh, there's this ride, they did this weird documentary. I thought it was going to be like kind of silly.
Yeah, although
And it was not.
It did start with a little bit of silliness where it used the the like alien synth noise
from
from like the 80s, and it did like the Tinkerbell Disney little
Yes.
jingle.
Yeah, I did
It's
When You Wish
true.
Upon a Star, but
Yeah.
on like a fucking theremin.
You know what else was funny though?
What?
When they killed Mike. Also, like you were thinking, Garrett and I both just started laughing.
I couldn't tell.
So partially, I was thinking
Okay.
about Michael Eisner's Mist as I do almost daily.
It's nice when an episode just just gives you a title very easily. You know?
Mike missed.
But I was on myheritage.com and
Go on.
found was 26 records for the last name Butt Cheeks.
Okay.
Thank God.
The first one was Bobby Butt Cheeks.
Yes.
But then I was scrolling down and there are some where the people have like hidden their name, but it chose that by putting the word private in like carrots. So there's a private butt and then in parentheses born butt cheeks.
Oh God! I
We
think
should just call the episode "Butt Cheeks," please.
For sure.
I think I do think though that at the end of the day, my favorite part of the entire documentary is
What are you showing me?
It's just
But-
better visually. When you look at it, it really brings it into focus.
born butt.
We all pay taxes. Do you understand?
Oh my God, I have a job.
We have jobs. We pay taxes.
Ultimately, the documentary was kind of fun and kind of bizarre, but I think we can all agree the best part was the Michael Eisner
Michael
discovery
Of course.
and the finale that they did where they, upon the puddle that was once known as Mike Eisner, they shot a giant RPG onto
Yeah, we haven't
on his-
discussed that yet.
that was the best part was that finale. Where
I
it's
thought
like,
it was so cool when they reduced Michael Eisner back to his component elements and then they took an RPG and fired it at the concrete.
They collected the ruins and put it in a canister, and they shot it out of a rocket. And when you zoom out, it's the star that goes over the castle. It's his single cup.
dude,
Once it, just as a final bit, once it gets over the castle, someone hits it with a stinger.
Yep.
this is we finally did it. This is the single most fucked up episode to be somebody's first episode of It Gets Weird.
Yeah, I think this is the most fucked up first episode since the piss episode, I think.
Oh God,
Oh man.
I'm crying.
But that, yeah, I mean, all
Crying
jokes
about butt
aside,
cheeks and Michael Eisner's red mist.
all jokes aside, I kind of enjoyed it.
Yeah, there's something very fun
It's
about
bizarre.
the oddity that this is. Like, it feels like a piece of lost media that you should like. It feels like this shouldn't just be accessible because it should have like Disney should be trying to scrub this from the archives.
Yeah, probably. What did you two think?
I loved it.
I think you should try and, if you have access to it, find a way to go back to 1995 and ride the ride.
Yeah.
I think you'd have a good experience.
Yeah.
Bring your favorite gun for the Michael Eisner part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
For the brief
as
moment
there
where-
is, an audience participation.
Yeah,
segment.
there's a
In the
part where the
pre-show,
military beckons the onlookers.
All right,
to,
everybody, 1 through 25 in line, go ahead and bring your guns up. And we've got it marked. Really, we didn't have to mark anything. That is all Michael, actually.
it.
All that red there. If
I-
you could guys open fire for 6 seconds.
Do you think somebody
Yeah.
got point blank with like a sniper rifle with a
Michael
scope?
Eisner?
Yeah, just like think of all the different guns people could be using in this scenario. Is kind of what I'm going for.
I'm picturing somebody with like a howitzer.
This is taking a turn.
Jules was going to say something. I think.
Oh, I don't know what to do.
Every time I try to get it back on the rails, someone starts talking a new way of turning Michael Eisner into mist.
I can't stop laughing at it. I legitimately had a lot of nostalgia for this format in a way
Yeah.
that I didn't realize before it started. That like I really did grow up on watching shows like this where this was the exact format. And there are still shows like that being made. It's not like it's a completely extinct form of television.
Part
But
of me
I-
wants it remade in 4K,
Yeah.
and a part of me wants it also to have the option to be in 240p
Yeah. Yeah.
at the same time. With that quilted northern commercial.
The
at the
bounty.
Bounty, yeah.
Jules and I were just talking about. Oh, we forgot to say this was sponsored by Bounty paper towels.
Yeah, the quicker picker upper.
Jules and I were talking about like, is there any movie that you only want to watch in like VHS quality?
Yeah, that you wouldn't want them to remaster it ever.
Maybe that'll be the big question. Is there anything that like much like this has been frozen in amber of like a shitty taped off of the TV cassette tape? Is there anything that like you want in this kind of quality to as the way it exists in your memory?
Yeah.
The ABC, I think it was ABC. I'm pretty sure it was ABC. Dinotopia special.
Ooh.
Oh my
That's
God.
a good one.
It's a very good answer.
Very good one.
I know what it is for me as well.
What's that?
Sonic the Hedgehog, the Saturday morning cartoon.
Okay.
Too Fast for the Naked Eye. Blue Blur speeds by Too Fast for the Naked Eye.
Yeah, you're talking about the one that's not with Scratch and Grounder.
Correct. I'm talking to one that has Sally Acorn, Bunny Rabbit, Tails, Miles Prower.
All is wise.
That show that is when I was kind of going through my brain, I was like, that show is forever in my brain as that like old grainy TV texture.
Yeah. In my mind, like for me, it's stuff like the original like Japanese Iron Chef.
Okay.
Like I used to
Yeah.
watch that on TV all the time, and also the like I love the '90s type shit on VH1.
Yeah.
Those things should only ever exist to me in like 240p.
Yeah.
Mine is McDonald's commercials.
Okay. Yeah.
Ooh.
You feel like
Especially
Max?
like a Halloween one.
Yes,
Where they used to do
yes.
the chicken nuggets dressed up.
Is
Yep.
it because of just like how ubiquitous that was, or is it because you feel like you shouldn't be forced to gaze upon the
I think
Hamburglar
they-
entire?
Yes, I think it
Quality.
would be. You would have to look at it through a pinhole if you saw him
Right.
in high def.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't think that they should have made any new McDonald's commercials on high tech cameras.
I like that.
I think they should only film them and air them.
I agree,
In that
actually.
low of quality.
That was
No, go ahead. I was just gonna say that's a good call.
I was going to say the hotel that I was at when it was Halloween and there was football playing, the TV was in like bizarrely shitty quality. And it
Yeah.
was like, this is better this way.
I'm in the
Like,
90s now.
Yeah, I'm liking this.
The dream of the 90s was alive that day.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
amazing. Well, do we have any other comments about this documentary? It's like it's not anything new.
No.
But it is incredibly strange that it is a Disney product that led to a ride that is completely
Not like
separate.
it at all. Yeah, it has
very
no
weird.
connection to. Very strange. So I don't think so. Do you want to take care of some business?
Sure. Any last words?
Do we have
before
to do we have to do your rating system?
Yeah, I guess we
Oh,
could.
true,
Yeah.
we do.
Isn't it technically an episode?
It is. It's a fuck your documentary. In this case, I have to give this kind of an enthusiastic, like, fuck your documentary. I enjoyed the experience of watching this, especially when paired with a weird handycam version of the ride.
Yeah.
It floored me. I don't know, like, this shouldn't exist. It basically is where my brain is, and it does. So I got to watch it, and it's weird.
I'm going to give it and you'll all understand what I mean when I say it like this. I'm going to give it a fuck your documentary.
Yeah.
Oh, true. Yeah. Good one.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it an open fire first. And then fuck your documentary.
Okay.
Mine is a solemn fuck you documentary in the memory of
In
Michael
memoriam
Eisner.
for Michael Eisner.
Yeah.
I thought it was good though. I liked it.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I think that brings us to some business, Niall.
Yeah, if you want to follow us on Twitter, you can go on at IGW Podcast.
You can follow us on Facebook.com/ItGetsWeirdPodcast.
And you can find us on all your favorite podcatchers, from Stitcher to Google Play to Apple Podcast to Spotify. If you listen to podcasts somewhere, look up It Gets Weird, and we're probably there.
Check out twitch.tv/itgetsweird. We stream sometimes. Life's been a little busy these last 2 weeks, but we usually do weekend streams. So check it out and hit that follow button. itgetsweirdpodcast@gmail.com. Email us your favorite methods of actually don't email us about Michael Eisner.
Yeah.
That's probably better because we have the
Visit-
comedy podcast framework that we can work within. You have the NSA kind of monitoring your emails, so
Yeah.
it's probably not worth
Go
it.
visit the Eisner Memorial Crater.
Yeah.
Take a
Email-
picture and email it.
Email
to us.
Kyle and Niall your favorite recipes for microwave mug cake.
Yeah, do that actually.
Microwaved Mike mess.
Go ahead and email us
I'm
about
telling you, I want to buy a packet of Michael Eisner powder that I just add water and I
Actually,
get.
the Kool-Aid supply has been about 40% Michael Eisner.
That's
ever
what
since
that's what
1995.
Charkleberry Finn is. It's pink.
the
It's Michael
inside-
Eisner.
The inside of a Wildberry Pop-Tart. That's all Eisner, baby.
Imagine
Patreon-
biting into a Wildberry Pop-Tart and you find a name badge that says
Yeah.
Michael.
Yeah. Or like a piece of a nail, like a toenail. A tooth. Yeah. Chip piece of a tooth.
His belt buckle.
Tastes like
Yeah.
Mike.
Oh. Jesus, what was I doing? Oh, Patreon. That's right.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/itgetsweird. Check that shit out. We have
Pay
a $2
for this
tier.
content.
Haven't you been listening to this be honest, listener, and thought, I can't believe this is free. I should have been paying for this.
I think you should pay for it,
I agree.
honestly. If I had my way, none of this content would be free for any of you sickos out there. You'd all be paying for it. But we do put it out for free. However, if you do want to support us, we have a $2 tier and a $5 tier. At the $2 tier, you get It Gets Weird TV. Niall and I are watching The X-Files right now. So check that out. We watch it, we recap it, we talk about it, we discuss it. We also have at the $5 tier our own individual shows that we do that happen in the off weeks of It Gets Weird TV. So at the $5 tier, you're getting It Gets Weird TV plus another bonus show. So that's bonus content every single week, baby.
And it's good shit.
It is. I agree. People were really people have been really giving me good
business.
reviews of Internet Experience Deluxe, which is
It's good.
swollen my ego.
Yeah. Did you say access to the Discord? You can chat with
I'm
these
getting
boys.
there. I'm getting there. Yeah, you can chat with us. You get access to a Discord, whether you
Discard.
the Discard.
It allows you to mill your deck.
Yeah, whether you donate to the $2 tier or the $5 tier, you get access to our Discord. You get main episodes 2 days early on Friday instead of Sunday, and you get the satisfaction of helping out your favorite podcast. We also have a $1 tier that's just a tip. You don't get anything out of it. You're just saying, hey, here's $1 a month. I like what you do. Thanks for doing it. And if you can't donate, please tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell your congressman all about It Gets Weird podcast.
I'll personally guarantee that if you do the $1, Kyle will think about you once a day,
Yeah,
every day.
yeah.
Guaranteed.
You won't know when.
It'll happen. though.
You'll be able to tell.
Over time, it'll build up in your system, and you'll be able to tell.
Yeah.
It's like a rash.
Yep.
Jules,
I'm a lot like
you
a
wanna
rash.
Throw anything?
Oh, I also host a podcast called The Outside Dive. My co-host is a loser who's not worth
What
mentioning.
the fuck?
But we talk about all elite wrestling. It's a topical wrestling podcast that comes out once a week.
Check it out.
At Outside Divecast on Twitter. Garrett, anything you want to say?
Well, like usual, they're gonna put a new tag on my ear and let me back out in the wild. So I guess everybody just hope I don't get caught next time.
Did they not tell you that this time I'm going to be hunting you for sport?
For sport?
For sport.
Yeah, not for eating.
I'm going to mount
for
your head on
research?
my wall.
And
Well, it's
So
been
you
fun.
better run.
All right, Gary, you get a head start, and we'll wrap this one up.
All right, bye, guys.
Listening. This has been It Gets Weird, and I've been Niall.
and I'm Kyle signing out.
Peace.